Hiya, punks, and welcome back to the next installment of a series that I've decided to call My Chemical Makeup, where I do makeup looks based off every My Chemical Romance song ever. Or at least I'm gonna try to. Last episode, we kicked things off with the first album, I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love. For a few seconds, I had people tricked into thinking I had the actual Bullets CD, I wish. And I did a look to show some love for the album cover, because the Bullets cover art is super cool and it doesn't get anywhere near as much love and appreciation as the other album covers, especially when compared to Revenge, and I think that's a shame. As for today, we're actually getting to the music, starting with track 1, Romance. And yeah, I know it's an instrumental and a cover, but it's still a song on the album, it's pretty, I got inspiration for a look, I have free will, and I do what I want. So here is my concept sketch. She's simple but beautiful, just like the song. This song makes me think of a vampire who lost the love of her life due to choosing to stay human and die of old age. She comes to the cemetery where she's buried every year on her birthday to lay flowers on her grave and reminisce on the time that they spent together. I went for a fusion of romantic goth makeup and a smidge of 90s grunge. And in my research, I have found a surprising amount of overlap between the two styles. Now, without further ado, let's get started. After prepping my face and gluing down my eyebrows, I primed my eyes using my usual Beauty Creations color-based eye primer in Whiteout. I put it all over my eyelids, all the way up to my brow bone, and dragged it out past my inner corner a little bit for a small wing. Then I put it all the way around my under eye as well. Once you're happy with the coverage, you can add your setting powder barrier. To start on the eyeshadow, I'm going to take a red shade and put that on my eyelid, starting at my inner corner and taking it just past the center of my eyelid and going no farther up than my eye socket. Leave your brow bone alone. Next, take a maroon eyeshadow and put a little bit of it right next to the red to act as a transition shade. Don't go past your outer corner. And guess who's back from the last episode? It's the Berries by Juvia's place. This time, I'll be using this super dark mulberry color and adding that next to the maroon and dragging it out to create a small wing. I'm also adding it to the outer corner of my under eye. Don't worry about it looking messy. Now blend where all three colors meet on your eyelid. You can use a brush, but I found finger blending to work best for me in this case. Now take some more of the maroon shade and add that to the rest of your under eye. Again, don't worry if it looks messy. You're going to take a blending brush and smoke out your under eye and the wing. Then, start taking more of the maroon and add it to your brow bone, also smoking that out as you go and blending where it meets the red. To add a little bit more depth, I took some black eyeshadow and added a teeny bit on my outer corner and almost halfway under my eye, then blended it. And now I'm adding a little bit of my eye primer directly on top of the center of my eyelid. Why, you might ask? Because we're adding sparkles! And it needs something to stick onto. For said sparkles, I'll be busting out my new magnetic eyeshadow palette where I've started to collect singles! Those two matte shades in the corners will be used later on in the series, but for now, this beauty in the center is the real star of the show. This is Cerise Waves from TerraMoons Cosmetics. What a gorgeous red shimmer she is. I mean, my goodness. She's so pretty, oh my god. Using my finger, cause brushes and applicators just weren't cutting it for some reason, I added it directly on top of the primer I set down on the centers of my eyelids and blended out the edges where it met the other colors. And with that, your eyeshadow is done, so you are free to remove your setting powder barrier. Now before we do anything else with the eyes, we gotta sketch on our eyebrows first. These are very thin, very precise brows, so I sketched them on with brown and black eyeshadow. I found it best to sketch one section of both brows at a time to help get them as similar looking as possible, but not symmetrical, cause that'll never happen. Remember gang, sisters, not twins. Now that we have the eyebrows mapped out, I started sketching out the spider lily petals at the outer corners of my eyes. I drew out 4 petals, leaving a little space in between each one for when I paint the stamens on later. Those are the little antenna looking dudes sticking out of the flower. The first petal should go right next to the outer edge of your eyebrow sketch, and the last petal should be the shortest and situated right on the outer corner of your under eye. Now it's time to bust out the eyeliner. We're using 3 colors again this time, and I'm bringing back my black and white split liner from Hex Baby from the last episode. But for now, I'm gonna dip into this red eyeliner. With a detail eyeliner brush, I am going to unknowingly hold my breath and clench my jaw as I trace over the sketch lines of the flower petals. Also, I'm really sorry if you can barely see what I'm doing. My thumb is just simply too big and covering up most of it. That, and no matter what I did or tried, I just couldn't figure out a hand position that was comfortable enough for me where you could also see what I was doing, so there's nothing I can do, I'm sorry. I tried my best with the footage. If you attempt to recreate this look for yourself, please go slow and take your time because this requires a lot of precision. I was originally gonna do roses near the eyes, but it occurred to me that it would look too similar to what I have planned for Helena's look when I eventually get to Revenge. So I decided to go with another red flower that better matches the whole story I came up with. You've probably seen this flower in anime and manga, so for those that don't know, spider lilies symbolize death and final goodbyes in Japan, and are what you see most commonly laying on graves there. Once the petals dry down, you're going to take the finest and thinnest detail brush you have and use more of the red eyeliner to draw on the stamens. The first one should go right under the outer edge of your eyebrow sketch line, and then 3 more, 1 in between each petal. And all of the stamens, except for the first one, should stick out farther than the petals. After those dry down, you're going to take some more of the dark mulberry eyeshadow from earlier and pack that onto where the red eyeliner starts in order to blend it into your eyeshadow. You might also have to reapply the black after this. Now I'm gonna dip into the black half of my split liner and line my eyes all the way around. Unfortunately, my left eye was twitching and picking a fight with me, so it took a little bit longer than usual. I don't know if you guys can see it, but trust me, I could feel it and it was very annoying. Once it dried down, I dragged it out past my inner corner to create a small wing. Well, small by hooded eyeliner standards. After the wings dried, I got out my dot eyeliner tool, which I've never used before, and got some more black eyeliner onto it. And very carefully I used it to add the little round tips to the ends of the stamens. Once those completely dry down, your eyes are pretty much done. So now, you can get to work doing the equally nerve-wracking task of drawing on your eyebrows with more of the black eyeliner. Remember to go slow and take your time, and take deep breaths if you need to. Also, you can't hear me in this clip, but I am softly laughing like a maniac with relief that I didn't mess it up. Once the eyebrows dry down, we can move on to contour. I took a cold toned brown and started with the sides of my nose. I went from right underneath my new eyebrows to my inner corners and all the way down the sides of my nose. This makes my eyes look slightly sunken in. Next, I went around the edges of my face with it. I used my cheek contour to hollow out my cheeks a little bit. The goal is to look slightly dead looking, but not all the way dead. And definitely not mostly dead, because there's a difference between mostly dead and all dead. I'm gonna add some white highlighter to my nose, the center of my forehead, my cheeks, and my cupid's bow. But don't add too much or you'll end up in Twilight territory. We gotta save that for vampire money when we get to Danger Days. Finally, we now get to the finishing touches, the lips. First, I'll be bringing out a lipstick that some of you might remember if you watched my Glorious Masquerade makeup series, Black Moon Cosmetics Sinister Satin, Elm Street. Here I just followed my natural lip shape for the most part, only changing my top lip to emphasize my cupid's bow. For the fangs, I've always had a hard time finding fake ones that'll actually stay on my teeth, so I'm going the way of the Monster High doll and using my white eyeliner to paint the fangs on my bottom lip. I know custom fangs are an option, but they are way too expensive, so painting them on it is. You might have to do a couple of coats due to the lip color being so dark and the tendency for it to stain the white. I'm pretty sure you've already noticed the white of the fangs reflecting onto my top lip since this is a satin lipstick, so I'm taking some of the maroon eyeshadow and putting it directly on top of the spots where it reflects to snuff it out. You might have to do this in 2 to 3 layers. Okay, I lied. This is the finishing touch. I totally did not forget to add the single tear of blood to my left eye until just now, you guys. I don't know what you're talking about. And now it's time for the final reveal. And cue the glamour shots. This look came out so pretty, I'm actually in shock at how gorgeous it is. I took so many pictures of this look, it was really hard to decide which ones to include in here. And just look at those eye close-ups. And with that, we can check romance off our list. I hope you guys love this look just as much as I do, and be sure to like this video and subscribe if you want to vibe here. It's a good time, I swear. And until next time, may death never stop you, and I will see you guys later.